tonight. Will you all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you all for attending this meeting on June 9th, 2026. Tonight, we need an approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
And a motion and second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right. No public hearings tonight. On the consent agenda, we have the approval of the minutes from the regular council meeting held on May 19th, 2026. We have the approval of the claims to be paid and the approval of the food stand license for rolling cones requested by Lauren Hone. Did I say that last name right? Okay, good.
Yes, this is as good as mine.
All right. We need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right, next we'll move on to the public comment portion. If anybody has any petitions, requests, comments, or communications from the general public, you can please come up to the podium, state your communication. Please limit that to 3 minutes. Looks like we have no one for public comment. We have no presentations and no old business. All right. So moving on to new business, letter A. Tonight, we have one of the things that we've done a lot, I believe, is work for our parks and want to upgrade to our parks. We have strived, and there's peoples within this community that have strived to keep our parks great for our kids, families, and people to come there. And tonight, we would like Mr. Clancy Mager to come up here, please. And we need to approve, well, we should wait with that, I guess. We need to approve resolution number 2026M, a resolution dedicating and naming of the softball fields at Centennial Park as Clancy Mager Fields in honor of Clancy Mager. Per this resolution, this is a resolution dedicating and naming the softball fields in Centennial Park as Clancy Mager Fields in honor of Clancy Mager. Whereas Clancy Mager has been a lifelong community member and prior resident of Lee Center, graduating in 1972, inducted into the Minnesota Softball Hall of Fame on November 1st, 2014. And whereas Clancy has spent 12 years dedicated to the citizens of Lee County as a county commissioner and 2 years as the mayor of Lee Center. And whereas Clancy's greatest legacy in his involvement with many community organizations and support for everything local, whether it be community events, sporting activities, and just about anything else you asked of him. And whereas Clancy's orchestrated and achieved many improvements to those softball fields, including lighting, bleachers, repairs, and operates the concession stand for Softball League. And whereas Clancy served as an ambassador for our community throughout his life and travels, always promoting the city of Lee Center, its citizens and community organizations. And whereas Clancy is a member of the Knights of Columbus as a past Grand Knight and Lee Center Community Club as past president, St. Mary's Catholic Church, Lee Center Wrestling Hall of Fame, Wrestling Booster Club, past member of Lee County Historical Society, Region 9 Committee, and the Lee Center Quarterback Club. And whereas faith, family, and community are the most important things to his life. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of Lee Center that the softball fields in Centennial Park be named as Clancy Mager Fields. So with this, we do need a motion to approve resolution number 2026M.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 2026M, a resolution dedicating and naming softball fields in Centennial Park as Clancy Mager Fields in honor of Clancy Mager.
Second.
We have a motion and second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right, approved. Clancy Mager, thank you so much for everything you've done for the community, especially up at those fields. You're up there, everybody knows you up there. The kids, when I help out up there, they call, where's Clancy, where's Clancy, where's Clancy? Everybody knows you up there. You've done a great job. You've helped out with this last project with us as well. And a lot of the stuff up there doesn't happen without your guidance. Well, thank you so much for all of what you do up there.
Thank you, Clancy.
Dan Steinborn and Dan Evans have, I believe, worked with your son on some signage up there as well. As we finish some things up there, there's going to be a little area too, I believe, correct?
Yeah, we just kind of have some preliminary numbers from our sign place over in the sewer, and then we'll continue to work with you guys to make sure it's done right. But we've got field 1 and field 2 of Clancy Mager Fields, and then some other things that we're going to do up there to incorporate up there. We'll make sure it looks good, and we'll continue to work with you to have that look nice up there.
The tables are already ordered. We got those coming.
I had to tell a little fib on the phone.
And Clancy, you know, we're all proud of what you do for the softball in the community, and the thing is you don't do this for this recognition. That's why it's awesome to give it to you.
Would you like to say anything? It's fine.
Another thing I would like to add too, I mean, it's really important. I mean, a lot of times we see fields and such get dedicated after the fact. And having you here with us and being able to do this is an honor.
I came up tonight to talk about improvements that Christian had talked about at the community club, and I'm just flabbergasted by this, because most things are named like Homestead is that you know, it's after you're gone, pass on or whatever, and I just can't imagine. It's a great honor, and it takes a lot for councils to, you know, to consider that, I would imagine, and I'm humbled by it. And I came up tonight to talk about putting money towards some of the other things up there. That's what I thought we were going to be talking about.
And you can still do that.
So, thank you very much. I'm really humbled, and I would never assume that anything be named after me.
Well, you do a lot of great things up there.
Yes, you do.
And, you know, the gentleman next to you helped out a lot with it as well. So I think you owe him a big hug too.
Thank you again.
Thank you for everything you do. If you ever need any help, just don't be afraid to ask. Okay?
Same way with you.
Thank you so much. Is there anything else? No? You good? Are you good? Are you sure? Yep. Okay. All right.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you so much. We will move on again to our next item under new business. Approval of resolution number 2026N, a resolution accepting a $1,500 community safety grant from CenterPoint Energy for the maintenance of city AED equipment. Where did this come from, Dan? Oh,
I didn't apply for the grant, that would be
Okay.
your interim chief.
I applied for it.
Yeah,
okay. Okay.
So we got an email, it was CenterPoint Energy, that's $2,500 for the community safety grant. We have quite a few still in the Red Phillips AEDs, still in the city's pool. And the batteries and pads are all starting to expire on them. So we applied for $1,500 to get pads and batteries to keep those units up and running. I know there's one at the pool. Dan's probably got 2 or 3 in his We've got two that we keep at the office for spares. We use our ones in the squad cars. We can replace those until the pads come back in on those.
Okay,
So,
perfect.
keep them up and running.
Awesome. Okay,
Great.
thank you so much for this. Thank you. All right,
Make a motion, approve 2026N.
we have a motion to approve resolution number 2026N.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Good to go. All right, notice of late filing for city offices, July 14th through July 28th, 2026. Administrator Evans.
Yeah, so the late filing basically means the city does not have a primary like other bigger cities do, so all the election for local offices will be held on the November 3rd, 2026 date. Voting will commence at 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. on voting day. And then the actual acceptance for filing for the mayor position, which is a 2-year term, and 2 council members, which is a 4-year term each, will start on July 14th at 8 a.m. will end July 28th at 5 p.m. So anyone interested in applying for those open seats can come to the administrator's office. And there's some couple of eligibility items there that are on the notice. Pay a $2 cash filing fee, and then put your affidavit of candidacy in for those positions. So this is the notice that we're gonna read here this evening, and also this is gonna be published in the LeSueur County News on June 25th. And this is also up on the website and the city's Facebook page to get the information out. So this is just our notice component of a public meeting for this.
All right. Thank you for that. We don't need any motions or anything with that? Oh, all right. Thank you so much. All right, moving on to new business, letter D, set workshop meeting for July 14th at 5:30 p.m.
We will just need a motion for that.
Yep. Does that work for everybody?
That's just before the regular scheduled meeting.
Will not work for me. July 14th? No.
We be at the meeting?
Nope. Unless you're coming up to the Boundary Waters.
Skype.
All right, so we need a motion to set the workshop meeting for July 14th at 5:30 p.m.
I'll make a motion to set the workshop meeting for July 14th at 5:30 p.m.
And I second.
A motion and a second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Okay. All right, letter E, review proposed changes to the Economic Development Authority enabling resolution. With this, in short, we will be giving the EDA some authority to work with their revolving loan funds, correct, City Administrator?
Yes, yep, so it's essentially giving some authority back to the Economic Development Authority to run and administer their micro loan program and their revolving loan fund program, and to be able to apply for grants and whatnot on behalf of the EDA. The original enabling resolution was done in 1987, and much of the authority was still governed by the City Council, and if the EDA acted on anything, they had to get approval from City Council. And while that's good for things like levying it, because they have the authority to do that, and buying land or things like that, it always goes back to council. But for these smaller items and these kind of loan programs, many other authorities in the surrounding communities have the authority for the EDA to dole those out, vet through the applications, set the rates to slightly under market to be competitive, and to kind of be able to boost bolster economic development. So this is kind of in a nutshell the original enabling resolution that established the EDA, and then now we're going to be coming back at the next meeting, hold a public hearing, and this is a draft of the resolution for next council meeting, which in a nutshell, like I said, gives a little bit of authority back to the EDA for those loan programs. So that's what this is tonight, for some high-level overview of information. And then if there's no questions on that, then we can move on to the next agenda item and set the public hearing for the next council meeting on this topic.
Are there any questions on the proposed changes to the Economic Development Authority enabling resolution.
Yeah, I have none.
Nothing? Looks good?
Yes.
All right. We have to make a motion to approve this or approve
Nope,
this
is just
resolution?
This is
Not
just a
resolution, but,
review. Nope,
okay.
the only thing I need tonight is just for you to, call the public hearing for this.
okay. And then that would be on letter F here. We need to set the public hearing for July 14th at 7 PM for the proposed changes to the Economic Development Authority enabling resolution.
I'll make a motion to set the public hearing for July 14th at 7 PM for the proposed changes to the Economic Development Authority enabling resolution.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right. We'll have that on that next month's agenda then. Moving on to reports of the departments, planning and zoning, Corey Block.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Nothing new to report. It's been a fairly quiet month. Got nothing unless you have questions for me.
Blue Boulder's brick is looking nice up there in the corner.
Yeah. Yep, that building's done.
The only thing is his shed down here isn't floating like in the,
Yeah.
Like a little bit.
yeah, it's just,
So yeah, the old car wash building is done now and looks pretty good, if you ask me.
Is that who's building behind Rademacher's? Blue
Yeah.
What's that gonna be used for? Storage?
It depends. That might end up being a shop.
Okay.
I think he's still trying to figure it out.
I suppose once he moves.
Okay. Any other questions for Corey? Thank you, Corey.
Thanks, Corey.
Liquor store report, Ms. Vikla is not in
We gave her
attendance.
the night off
Gave her the night.
in
Wedding
preparation for her, wedding that's coming up.
Oh, boy, yeah.
That'll be covered for you. So the liquor report is up on the screen for viewing. If there's any questions, I can attempt to answer them. If not, there's a snapshot of the number figures and then some update on events and then events that are coming up.
All right, if you have any questions, please send them towards Ms. Vikla, if you have any. Okay. All right, moving on to police report, Kevin Huber, Chief Huber. How we doing? Busy? Busy, busy? Good.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Congratulations. So, for a police report, as you can see, our mileage is now getting back up to where it was last year at this time. So I'm actually getting out of the office and getting stuff done during the day, other than just office stuff, so we're catching on and working on it. I was gonna discuss the Center Point Energy, but we did that. We're seeing a lot of ordinance violation complaints coming in, so we're really stepping up on that, a lot of junk cars. For the first time around during the May, we had a lot of lawn grass complaints, so we addressed some as they came in. So you're either hearing about it or seeing it, but there's a lot of junk cars that we're addressing, trying to get moved. Another thing we're seeing a lot of complaints on or seeing ourselves is electric scooters and bikes. Kids under 12, or kids under 18 are required to wear helmets by state law. It's statute, it's not us. No passengers. There's a whole list of laws that go along with it. So we've been educating them as we go. Some that we've educated 2 or 3 times are now walking them home until they get their helmets put on. It's for safety, especially when they're crossing the highway.
We want the kids safe, we don't want injuries or worse.
And then coming back to across the highway, the pool now open yesterday was the first day. It was a pretty scary event. Cars aren't slowing down. Kids are using the crosswalk, but they're not because of the construction, I'm guessing the state or whatever, not painting the crosswalks. So they're very hard to see. The lights weren't flashing, so it was a little bit better. Sitting up there with the lights flashing them, slowing them down, just flagging cars. But it's nothing to see when going through at 40. And making a stop, and then slamming on the brakes at the last minute when they see us sitting there and stuff like that, so. We're dealing with that, hopefully we get through, hopefully we can, I did talk to TZD Coalition about getting the billboard signs put up on the highways on both ends as they slow down, kids present. So hopefully, I haven't heard back, but hopefully they're available to get those up there.
Would it be, I don't know if we can talk to do we have access to
Speed trailer?
speed trailer that we could, or do we know someone?
We can request it. I can call up and request it, as
Okay.
long as it's not being used someplace else. The county has one.
Okay,
TZD has a couple that they bought when I was still working with the TZD.
okay,
They're actually the big signs that have a message, but they also have a speed on them. So if they're speeding, the light will flash and make it look like a camera. It's
Okay.
not, but obviously it makes it look like it slows them down.
okay,
So I'm trying to get those first, because
Okay.
then they're on both sides and not just on one, coming from one direction.
okay.
So, and last but least, not least, I guess, Dan and I conducted 4 interviews over the last week and then into the early last week. Made a initial offer and it was verbally accepted, so now we're just kind of waiting on a background packet to come in and so we can move forward with
Nice.
that. So,
Awesome,
hopefully
good.
we can get something going.
Still going through, same company for backgrounds? What did,
No, we switched, we're gonna go through Cardinal this time, only because they do a little bit faster. They-
Okay, what are they looking at?
10 to 14 days.
Good. All right,
Thanks, Kevin.
any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. All right, moving on to Public Works.
Evening, everyone.
How are we doing?
Got the pool fired up yesterday. It turned out pretty nice. The pool looks pretty good. We had Andrew with the county out last week and inspected and everything as far as water quality and everything like that. Great.
Good.
So, just letting the residents know that we have Bolton Mink in town. They're running around for our tree grant. They're doing an inventory of all the boulevard trees and our city properties. So if you see someone in the yard, they're just doing that. Once he gets that done, we go on to the next step. As far as whatever that is, as far as getting probably quotes and stuff to.
The next step will be an urban management plan, and then decide what tree species we want to do and where we want to, what trees we want to fell and which ones we want to plant with, and then, yeah, species list, and then we'll go on to contracting it out to, take some trees down and then put up approximately 100, take down 100 ash trees and put up 100 different, species of trees out there. So there's a big process that we have to follow through the grant agreement and the DNR, so it lays it out and the timelines that have been accepted. It's should go pretty quick and then follow along with the reporting and whatnot that DNR wants to see, and then put in for reimbursement when we want to get reimbursed off the grant. So should go pretty good.
And then one other thing, we had a little bit of vandalism up at the fairgrounds in the bathroom right behind the plate. They damaged one of the toilet paper dispensers, destroyed one, and were able to fix the other one. So letting people take care of our bathrooms, because if they don't, we will have to
Lock them
close
up.
I'll let you know that.
Thank you.
So that-
How are the trails coming up at the
Today
Centennial
we
Park?
took 4 loads of chips out there, and we're got half of it spread. We're gonna spread it more tomorrow. So
Okay.
as we get the chips, it's gonna take a bit.
Yeah, what's that big pile out there? There was,
That's ground up pavement from Industrial Street.
oh, that's,
That's one of our projects, is to get rid of that too.
gotcha. I couldn't tell from the distance.
And I should mention, bringing that up, that the stuff down on Ottawa Street, west of the shop, you know, where people put their branches and their leaves, that rock that's there, and those millings, that's for city use. I've had people complain that they're backed up with the pickup and they're filling the pickup up with rock. That's just for us, for water main breaks, taking care of alleys and stuff like that. Not
Okay.
for the taking.
You have any signage up
Yes,
for that?
I was gonna say, you probably should put some signs up there.
Yep, I
Okay.
keep working on it.
All right. Okay,
Like that.
any other questions? Thank you, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
All right, administrators report, City Administrator Evans.
Good evening. So I'm going to start with the pool report. So interestingly enough, we had our early bird special end on Friday for pool passes. And if you remember, it was $50 off the normal fee price for family or single. And we sold a total of 84 passes. And last year, at the end of the season, we only sold 54. So we've seen a considerable jump in passes sold, which is great. So hopefully the word's getting out and our promotional efforts on kind of folks taking advantage of those early bird specials. So
Good.
that is good. Continue to work through the Morris Electronic IT transition. We're still waiting on all of our locations for firewalls to come in. I'm hopeful that they'll come in here yet this week, and then we'll schedule a time to do a switch over from CTS to MEI to manage the firewalls. And then once we get the firewalls in place, then we can really start getting the process of transitioning over. We've got until June 30th when we're out of contract agreement with CTS, and then we're fully switched over to MEI. So I envision it being a kind of a tight timeline coming up because we don't have that many days left of the month. So hopefully we'll see some progress on that, and it'll be smooth sailing transition done. So other than that, that's all I've got.
Any questions? All right. Lee Summit County Commissioner updates. Commissioner Preisler.
Thanks, Mayor and Council, and congratulations again to Clancy, well deserved. Couple things to update you on. One is just a little bit more about kind of the status of the roundabout on 13 and 99. So MnDOT doesn't give a projected ending date until they have their start date. So we didn't get a projected ending date until June 1st when they actually started. So they projected to go, basically be done by September 1st. Okay, so that's a projection for it, so they'll shoot the rest of the summer. But that becomes kind of particularly important for the town of Kilkenny. They're halfway to St. Patty's Day in the second week of September. Because if the detour still exists going through town at that point, it creates some problems for them. So hopefully that extra couple of weeks gives some buffer, and but that's what the plan is. When it got mentioned earlier, as far as that speed trailer, that's over in Kilkenny right now. I kind of figured that. Yep. And so basically, it's obviously that we're running traffic through there and also through Montgomery from a standpoint of the detour, and so that's where I'm at right now. If there are issues that some of you see with that, and you've got like observations from a standpoint of, oh, I could do some different signage or those sorts of things. So maybe you can have a conversation even with MnDOT. They've been very good about, okay, if we come with a concern on, we do something different here during this detour, they've been pretty good about backing to that. So they may have some resources that they could bring to bear on doing some stuff here within town too. We've had some pretty good luck. Just as long as it's something that's close to reasonable, they've been pretty good about being accommodating for that. I know I've talked about the comp plan before. We are going to actually vote on it in a couple weeks, and then get that behind us, and we continue to work on ordinances and continue to work on work sessions with those ordinances. Again, none of that is going to really come to complete fruition until we get into the third quarter. May even bleed a little bit into the first quarter of 2027. But because especially with the ordinances, we'd rather do them right quick, and some of that's just plain going to take some time. Also comes into, I know last month I talked to you about that we were going to consider a moratorium on data centers. We did pass that, and so that's ended up, and just like I told you at the last board meeting, that moratorium is only for the unincorporated areas of the county. So if a city wants to do something, you still can. Some of you may have seen in the news the last couple of days that the city of Faribault was going to put one within city limits in Faribault, got sued, and the judge ruled against them. And so they are going to have to go back, and that project is going to have to do what's called an environmental impact statement. And that project, that is the third one now in the state that's getting sued. And all three of them have been ordered to do what's called an EIS, or environmental impact statement. Those are expensive, and those are time consuming. And they're paid for by the proposer of the project. When I say expensive, they probably start at somewhere between $500,000 and $700,000, and you won't get one done in a year. And so
Hermantown, Pine Island, and now Faribault have all lost court cases in the last several months. The same organization suing all three of them and prevailing. So what that moratorium will give us time to do is to develop out performance standards, develop out expectations, and go from there. It'll give us some time to actually work through that in a more orderly process. The other thing that hasn't changed since the last time I was here is that there are none that are proposed. And we also had a conversation with Excel and with NBEC, our two power providers for the county. They haven't had anyone approach them for anything within the county. So there is nothing proposed. We just want to try and get ahead of it and see what happens from there. And then as far as county projects, I think I mentioned at the last meeting that we're working on County 2, County 7. We started doing tiling on 7 here this week. And then there's also a couple of stretches of county road within the city of Cleveland. Those are kind of our bigger projects for this summer, and everything's on schedule with those for right now. So hopefully that goes well. And probably about it for any questions.
Dave, as far as those data centers go, once your moratorium is done with and such, is there much you can do to prevent one from being built?
As long as they would meet whatever you have in the ordinance. And so that's why it's important to think through the ordinance really well. And that's why you want to have performance standards that are built into that ordinance, where if you meet X, 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 then they might be able to get a permit. Now, we could say, for example, this is just for example, we haven't got into it yet, that we don't want to have them in agriculturally zoned areas. Okay, well, if that's the case, then they're just going to go, their only other choice would be to go into like a commercial or business zoned area. We don't have that many areas of the county that are unincorporated, so are already part of cities, that are zoned for commercial or industrial.
And big enough for that too.
And big enough, but they do come in kind of varying sizes, and so the other thing that I can tell you just personally from my standpoint, I'm really not interested in like these first generation data centers that use a lot of water and a lot of power. The next ones that are being developed are using closed loop systems from the standpoint of the water. The water usage becomes a fraction of what some of the first ones are. And there are some systems now that are looking at generating their own power or figuring out a way to get it somehow to where it doesn't stress the existing grid that serves us. And so those are, and I won't speak for the other 4 commissioners, but those are kind of 2 deal breakers for me. If we're going to protect the people and the resources that we've got here. And sometimes it's good not to be first. You can learn from some things that have happened in other areas, and try and head some of that off. But on the other hand, if they're in an area that we have zoned for them, that's where they're proposed to go, and they can meet all of the standards, then no different than any other development that you do here too, right? If they meet the standards, you generally can permit them. That's why we're going to take our time and get it done right.
Yep.
Good question.
Thank you. Any other questions for Commissioner Chrysler?
All right, thanks for the time. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. All right, Lee Stewart County Fair Board, Ms. Stoff.
Came in, she did not have any new information tonight.
Okay, all right, I'm sure she's getting excited. It's getting down there.
Feels like it out there.
Yeah, feels like it, yeah, that's for sure. All right, moving on to other business. Anybody have council reports? Anything? Any meetings that you've gone to that? No? All right. All right, on other business, letter B, City Hall will be closed on Friday, June 19th in observation of Juneteenth, and Friday, July 3rd in observation of Independence Day. So if you have anything, make sure you get it done before or after. Not on those days, you're not gonna get it done. All right, that's all for tonight.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
We have a motion to adjourn and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.